search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Definitely fun.
Keep going.
That's coming out?
They're doing
Xenoblade.
They're doing a definitive edition. It's a Wii U game, but they're releasing it on Switch now.
Got you.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
So you know all about Nintendo. Okay.
I know very much about them.
Do you have all the Nintendos, like Super Nintendo, N64, the Wii, Wii U?
You know what? I don't have the only retro I really collect is GameCube, because Switch you can play Super Nintendo and N64 on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a collector tell me once, he goes, choose your lane, because otherwise you'll go insane.
Really?
I had a bunch of NES and Super Nintendo stuff I just sold off like a year ago to fund travels and things.
That's pretty good.
So,
Yeah,
it worked out though. Yeah.
So he had to do that. So Peter, do you don't play like PlayStation or Xbox or?
I have a PS5 and
yes, I'm a PS5 main. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I
period.
just got Silent Hill 2.
Oh, it's
Nice.
hella good.
Okay.
It's scary. I was screaming.
I kind of promised myself not to start a new game till I beat the last game I'm playing. I've been playing
Which is what?
Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, good luck. Those games is hard.
It's great, and I also I just beat Astrobot for the new Astrobot.
Oh, on PlayStation. Yes. How was that?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's sold out at Target.
Such
Or
good
you do
graphics.
digital, huh? You don't buy.
I gotta play that.
physical?
No, I buy only digital on Nintendo because I know I'm never going to sell it again.
Got it.
And I need to have it at midnight when it comes out. Like I need it at 12:01.
Oh, you fiend. I get you.
But with PlayStation, I buy the discs because I can trade it in and get a new game. I don't care. I don't have
Oh, you trade?
only
Oh,
for
yeah.
I have
PlayStation.
all mine.
Xbox.
I'm a hoarder.
Is, just Game Pass, right? Xbox, I don't buy games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah, Russell got
Game
that.
Pass
He
is
don't like PlayStation. He just spends money on Game Pass.
It's
I'm
Game
a
Pass
physical
is
collector.
deal.
Though. I like to hold a thing. Like I need it.
But here's the thing I noticed. So like PS2, PS3, and PS4 games have no value. Like I had all these PS2 games that I
Yep.
really cared about, and like they don't not worth anything.
Yeah, there's only a few
and-
valuable games for that system.
Exactly,
Not
like,
very
and
many
it's
at
like
all.
rare Japanese kind of games, and
Mhm.
so it's so easy to rebuy them. And like Nintendo, like they don't remake their games a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mario
Yeah.
Party 7 with the microphone will never be re-released.
No.
Yeah.
But
That was fun though.
Metal
And
Gear
8.
Solid 2 and 3 are already getting, or number 3 is getting
Right.
remade. So it's like PlayStation games get remade.
And all the others are playable on modern consoles through those like re-release
Totally.
packages of the Metal Gear stuff. So
Totally. So
Nice.
kind of like, anyways, we should talk about video games for the next.
I know. Well, welcome, Peter, to Footage Foreplay. I'm Terrell, by the way, and you were talking to Mr. Burger Muncher here, Evan. And over here, that's quiet, is Lord Battle, aka Russell.
Hi.
Who's Oksana?
Oh, she's not even here, girl. She watching
No.
the baby.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry
Sorry.
to sadden you.
that's our fourth unseen member here.
Cool.
Awesome. So, Russell, take us off.
Yeah. So, Oksana's my wife, and she's also the podcast slave. We make her do everything, like work with the talent. And
That was
she
really
warned
good,
me.
really good correspondence, I gotta say.
Oh, perfect. She'll be happy to hear that. Now, I noticed in your frame it says Peter. Now,
Yeah.
I'm a little. So, are you the producer, Peter Hatch, or
Yeah.
okay?
But so here's how this works. I'm also Denman is my middle name.
Mm-hmm.
So for director and writer, I go by Denman.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I should also tell you I'm one of the makeup artists as well. But that's what's name is that? That's Sinclair. And then the sound designer Sandman. That's also me as well.
Oh, so you got aliases?
Damn.
Why are you
Yeah.
an alias?
Well, I started it a long time ago because my name Peter. I'm here in Toronto. I work in commercials. Like I'm a DIT editor type.
Mhm.
And when I started making movies, I guess like it just doesn't. I was just told by someone it doesn't look good if you're trying to be like a writer director to be like jack of all trades type. It just makes you look indie and like you're not like that good of a director. Let's say if you're like when you see a short film and it's like you're the director, the writer, the producer, the editor.
Oh, I see that a lot. They don't
Yeah.
care. They want to put their name everywhere. They want to make you know that he did everything.
Cooler if you it's cooler. I guess I'm revealing all this, but
Yeah.
it's cooler if you're a writer director who's like actually looked at for your writing and directing.
Yeah.
So I keep
Weird.
those separate. And it used to be something where people would ask me to do more and more stuff, and I'd make it up and be like, oh, I got to ask Sam. Sam's gonna give me some pushback. So yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Now, the reason I asked, one, that's exactly like one-man movies are kind of our shit. We're enthusiasts of like indie horror.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot. And we're the type that would like, give that dude a hug. So you have a hug coming for you.
Oh, right.
But also,
Get here into Canada. We'll do it.
the other thing is, we're a podcast and we cover horror movies. So we're kind of in this like fake journalist lane. And you really made it hard for us. Where the fuck's your IMDb, dude?
Well, my IMDb, I have a Peter Hatch and a Denman Hatch IMDb.
Oh, do you not have Baleful up yet?
I don't know. All the movies I have on IMDb just kind of got there. I've never actually.
Oh, okay.
I find it's like they get in. I don't know how it happens. Like it either gets into a festival and it gets there, or someone puts it there. Like one of the actors will submit it. I don't know.
Evan, you want to go ahead and?
He's still eating.
I mean, somebody would have had to have submitted it, so it probably was a fest organizer or an actor.
Okay.
Yeah. So Evan, the reason I called him out is he does that for Letterboxd, and we run a film fest called the Unnamed Footage Fest, and we deal with all in-world camera, kind of like Blair Witch project type movies, found footage.
Cool.
And Evan, we'll get a lot of submissions where they don't even have art. And Evan's our little graphic designer over here, so he'll make them a poster and a whole post, and he'll log it. So somebody's been doing that for you, basically.
Well, I make the posters usually, but if I go on, sometimes I search on Letterboxd and IMDb, and like there'll be a makeshift poster that's like a still frame from the movie or something.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged, Evan.
I'm not like I don't know. Like I don't really do the marketing thing super well. I try. I'm mostly. I don't know if like I have the YouTube channel. It's kind of like the base of what we are, like Deformed Lunchbox, and that's kind of like where I do it the most. So I don't. Yeah, I guess I probably should do better at that.
No,
IMDb.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
So for people listening, we're talking here to Peter, and he's got a movie coming out at another hole in the head, Baleful. And just for a little bit of insight, we're out here in the Bay Area, and our fest is out here. And a lot of film fests, they kind of get this like antagonistic relationship with nearby film fest. Everybody fights for premieres. We have a great relationship with another hole in the head. And the director, George, hit me up and specifically named your movie. He said, you guys need to watch Baleful.
Wow.
He's like, I don't know how to describe it. He's not a man of many words, but he knows what he likes. And he said, you guys are going to fuck with this movie. And I was like, okay. And he was correct.
Oh, you guys have seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Terrell?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Terrell, he's holding out for the theater, which we had to watch it because I had to know what we were getting into, but I wish I could experience it in the theater for the first time too.
Yeah.
So I'm recommending, if you're listening, we won't dive too deep, and I promise we're not going to spoil it because it is the world premiere we're talking about, right?
Well, it's more than that, actually. It's the world premiere, but it's probably the only time it'll be seen in that way.
Why?
Because when I release it, we're going to release it on Christmas.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
It's going to be released in sections. Like when you saw the movie.
Sections.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain, but the movie is almost anthological a bit.
Mm.
But the original vision of the movie was that each of those stories were it was like story 1, story 2, story 3, story 4. Then I had a lot of different feedback from a lot of different people, and I edited it 10 different ways. And then eventually I was like, some of these stories are better than others. They're just better production value, better actors. I'm just being blunt here. And so I kind of compromised the vision and made the version you saw, which I still like, which is kind of like jambalaya, where like you're seeing
I like me some jambalaya.
a little A, a little B, a little C, then you're back to A, then you're B, then you're C, then you're A. And to be honest, like the world of distributing feature horror films is like fraught.
Yep.
It's hard to like make money or get any splash, especially if you don't have any big actors in it. And for an indie movie like ours, that was like it cost like $15,000 to make, like really, really cheap. you have to like win at a big festival to like get the notoriety to get a distributor and actually do okay.
Yeah.
So we could have gone that. Maybe I'm digressing here, but we could have done that route of like getting a sales agent and getting it on maybe Tubi and getting it on Apple Movies and Amazon Movies and like making no money and having it die on those platforms and being cataloged.
Yep.
Or I have a YouTube channel that we get 1,000 views an hour, and I'm like, that's where all the fans want to see it anyways. So I kind of after we, I'm glad Another Hole in the Head like the film because I've had films there before. Like they seem like a great team. But yeah, I think the best avenue is to actually go back to the original vision and release it as this kind of these set parts. And maybe I'll put them all together at one point and release a full version. And maybe in like years down the road, we'll release the full thing or something. But I actually think the individual parts like are more powerful. So it's kind of funny. Like I made this decision. We kind of did the re-edit, and then Another Hole in the Head was like, yeah, we want your movie in the festival. It's like, oh, that's kind of great. But it's kind of like this one-time exclusive thing.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it's cool. I wish I could come.
I'm not gonna come. Why don't you come in, Mr. Toronto?
For one,
there's GameCube's over here too. Facebook Marketplace can get you one.
You know what? It's the 12th, 13th, right? The festival.
It's all month. God damn it!
Because I work on the 13th and the 12th, and then the 17th and 18th. Like I've got weird work. I work in
Friday the 13th is the movie.
It's something like that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And
it is
like
the Friday the 13th.
I don't know what it's like there. Like I work in the actual film industry here, and commercials like because Toronto commercials are the probably the most consistent way to work. They just dry up like come December, January, February. I won't work very much.
Oh,
so I need to make sure
you need your money. You get your points, get more GameCubes. I get it.
I gotta be GameCubes, right?
So what does Baleful mean? I want to ask. What does that mean? I never heard of Baleful. What is this?
Well, it's baleful, but if you look
Baleful.
Baleful,
I didn't get a dictionary. I just want to know because you hear.
It's a real word. It means threatening harm or menacing or threatening violence.
So are you a violent person, Peter?
No, not.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this. So you're going to put this in parts. So it's going to be like little short films on your YouTube. You're just going to drop this part 1, part 2, part 3 like that. And get people...
weeks in a row. Part 1 will come on Christmas. And then every week from then on will be the next part. And it's like seven parts. Seven stories.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You were talking about
Peter.
That these are going to be like the short. Are they like how condensed? Like how much longer are these than the segments we saw in the movie?
They're shorter.
They're shorter.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. They're about the same, but it's like, for example, in the movie,
don't see them in pieces. You see it.
There's the Eddie character, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
The guy who opens with, so he has this big section at the beginning, like his first 9 minutes. I mean, I do a lot of editing, so I think of movies in structure sometimes. So I'm not we can talk like creative character stuff, but I'll just talk about structure.
Yeah.
There's about 9 minutes of his storyline, and then we get to B, C, D storyline, and then he comes back in little sections later.
Right.
Now it's his section with those little sections moved into it. So his whole section, his whole story is in that one short film, which is 16 minutes. No, I don't want to spoil it. Yes, he comes in a little later for a later section, but that's a spoiler, right? And then for the B section, where it's the therapist Anne and her daughter and her missing granddaughter, and that's kind of in these sections. That's now all one section. So and the Martin, the guy with his mother, and he has the memory problem. He has 3 sections as well. That's all now one 15-minute section.
Okay.
And that was the original idea. And those sections really work on their own. And the thing I really liked about doing that initial way of making it was that you can watch it in any order. It's not really you need to start the beginning. You can start in any order and kind of watch because it's all, I don't know.
I like that kind of stuff.
It's all a loop, right? It's all a loop.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a weird movie. I'm not going to lie. What is this? 2024 now. So a year ago, I wanted to make a feature film, we made a Kickstarter. We did the whole thing because I had this YouTube channel. I'm like, we did Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter like failed miserably. We were looking for 30,000 and we raised 3,000, and then the whole thing got kiboshed.
Mm-hmm.
But around that time, you know, my girlfriend and I were breaking up. She moved out. I was in this place all by myself with no furniture because she took all the furniture. And I was on a movie like as a worker, not as like a making my own movie. It's like a DIT. That's what I do at DIT. And I was all overnights for a month. So I was like kind of going a little bit crazy. Like I like was disassociating. I was sleeping on an air mattress, and like I was sitting and playing Zelda on a lawn chair, like rather than a couch.
Yeah.
The new Zelda came out last year, so that was a big deal. And anyways, I was like disassociating, and I had this empty like townhouse. So I just got my friend, and I'm like, dude, we got to let's just start making a movie. Like, let's just start filming. And we filmed that very first scene with him, the opening of the movie where he's dead there with the saw on the floor, and his throat is slashed. And we just, to be honest, we kind of like built the movie off that scene. And we shot that scene a few different ways and focus tested it. And a few people watching like, don't do this. We had like a floating thing, and we had some designs for a demon, and we kind of reverse engineered it. And we're like, well, where does he go? He's got to talk to a therapist about his problems. And then we built that out, and we must have rewritten his spiel to his therapist like 10 times. And we sort of reverse engineered it. And then I took kind of these other short film ideas I had, and we like kind of contextualized it into this thing. And some of the sections, there was no script ever. Sometimes there's a script for just like a few bits of it. Sometimes we just I did a bunch of storyboards and we just filmed the storyboards. There's one section of the movie that's just a podcast and visuals to the podcast. So it was kind of an experimental process. But I didn't know what we were doing. I was kind of like, we don't know what movie we're making. We're just doing, it has a feel to it. And then in the end, I knew I had a lot of this content, and I hate the word content.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
we have stuff to show people. And I guess like when the movie as a whole didn't I know Another Hole in the Head likes it. I think it's a good movie, but it didn't really like take a hold of the masses in any huge way. Let's say it didn't get into a massive festival that gave it clout. And
first off, how dare you
talk to it's just hard. It's hard to sell a movie that's like found footage and no actors and stuff, or no big names. So that's why it's in a weird scenario. So when you guys asked me on this thing, and I think there's another associate with Another Hole in the Head that wants to do an interview. It's kind of this funny scenario where it's like, oh, you guys are going to see this movie that's going to be kind of re-edited like a director's cut into pieces.
Yeah.
It's the same story. It's the same scenes.
Right.
It's just the order is different.
Peter, okay. All right. Who didn't like this movie? I feel like there's somebody who's like, what is this?
I have a whole list of film festivals I submitted to that rejected it.
Damn.
God, they're fucking stupid.
Okay, to name names. Go ahead.
You want me to name all of them? I got my
You're gonna have him do that. Don't do that.
Hold on.
I don't care. I don't feel offended by it. It's just how that goes. And I've had a short film get rejected from so many festivals, and now it has like 23 million views
And crushes on YouTube.
So I'm just kind of like, and also I'll just say it. We sent it to Alter, and we also sent it to Crypt TV, which I was big fans of.
Yeah.
Right.
And both of them
Was past tense. I got that.
Damn.
Oh, I know. I still am.
Okay.
That time. But they also both didn't want it. They sent me Crypt TV had a really nice message to me. They're just like, it's not really our style. And I mean, I'm kind of happy they said no.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just think it's not always a film. Some movies just aren't for festivals.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe this short film, this sections online will get its day in the sun. You never know with movies.
Yeah.
Right? I just make them, and then we'll see what happens. So you guys want to see?
Peter, you are wild. Here, no, I can't, because I know Terrell has a heart out, and I have a lot I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Peter, first off, you found your homies. I think with the Unnamed Footage Fest, kind of looking like we're in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area, we have a ton of fucking film fests, and they're all very highbrow, and everything is art, right?
Yeah.
They watch film, not movies. And I wanted to kind of like carve our little path doing found footage shit, which even in the subgenre that is the like everybody gets to punch down on horror.
Yeah.
And horror fans punch down on found footage. So it's like, all right, let's put our fucking flag in the hill and like fight back. And we're in this weird time where like now analog horror, the back rooms, like it's kind of having this like renaissance, this resurgence, and it's all online. So I also find myself in a spot where I start referring to movies as like YouTube cinema, right? Like we had Milk and Cereal come out.
Yeah.
And that shot waves across the horror community because half the people hated it just because something about putting a movie on YouTube makes it not feel like a movie to some people.
Yeah.
And
Weird.
why? I don't
Well, they
understand.
almost have this stigma about since if somebody's like a quote unquote content creator, you know, of any kind, then people are like they almost come in with like a stigma, like they don't want to like it.
Oh,
know?
yeah. It's not film. Like Bret Easton Ellis would always talk about this, like how when he was talking to film students, they wouldn't want to make a movie. They wanted to make content. And he was just like, we're fucked. And it's like, the thing is, run times need to get shorter. In the found footage world, we see a lot of features that are 90 or 60 minutes long.
Is that a feature? I thought it had to be 75.
Well, see, they do by that industry standard, but yet I
Right.
feel like you've had more success on YouTube with, again, Deformed Lunchbox. I knew Altered. I know Kings of Horror. I mean, I'm pretty, like me and Terrell, we like those, like, they're putting cinema on that platform, which even feels like, I mean, I love YouTube, but it still feels like weird. Like jumping on Altered and watching a bunch of short films, you're either into it or it's kind of like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like on YouTube, you almost want like multiple content. Like you want a story to be over multiple videos. And that's where you get like Petscope and all this ARG stuff. And so when I hear you talking about breaking your movie up into multiple videos, I understand. Yet, I love YouTube and I love shit like Milk and Cereal and all. I mean, our buddy David Dawson has a movie up there called Bone Barrel. We love YouTube and film on it. Yet, I really like Baleful. And the thing I like about it is it made sense when I learned after watching the movie that you were a YouTuber. Do you call yourself that? I mean, you have a real job in film.
I don't know if I call myself a YouTuber just because I don't usually put my face on the channel. Like I don't like vlog and talk that much.
Right.
To be honest, it was kind of just a fluke, the YouTube thing. Like I made a lot of films and like anyone in film school, we made short films thinking like one short film was going to get us a call from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was like everyone has this delusions, right? Like when you're in film school, like everyone wants to be a director, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then over time, everyone kind of finds their place in the industry, and which is more realistic. But I had all these short films that I made, and I just kind of liked making short films, and so I just one day uploaded them on YouTube. And I had a few friends that they were like, let's get together and make a couple of these little ones and let's make a few. And then they kind of just got some sort of traction and then now it's monetized and I use the money to make more films. So it's kind of cool. It just was kind of a fluke. I never put it on there to like do what it's doing. I just wanted a home for all my work in one place.
Yeah.
Where did you start? Now, first off, what is DIT?
So a DIT, it stands for Digital Imaging Technician, and basically it's like the guy on set who's on a nerdy computer cart with all the color scopes, and he's got like the color grading panel with the wheels and stuff. That's basically the job. Like you work with the cinematographer on like establishing the look of the film and the exposure and things like that, and then you are kind of like the pipeline to post-production. Like if you think of an hourglass, like the top half is the production and then it goes thin and then you're that thin part and it goes to post-production. That's how I like to think of it.
So you're not doing like a final color grade. You're doing more of like an active LUT for like dailies or?
Well, a LUT is usually applied like pre-filming. So it's like a LUT would be put into the camera or like, and then applied to the footage as we're watching it. And then basically you're dialing in the look and exposure with the DP to get it exactly how they want it.
Oh, got
and
it.
then that is like the intermediate. It's on the intermediate footage. It gets edited from the editor with the client and commercials with the client and agency.
Yeah.
I guess in a long format, which I've done, it's like the directors or whoever. But that's the footage that everyone sees. So usually the DP's work is getting judged on that footage. they're not going to get judged on the final color based on the final cut that's happening in 8 months.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it matters to them. And there are a lot of times where the whole look gets established on that. Like, cause some commercials and movies, they want to like they want to like respect the DP's look the whole way. DP is the same as cinematographer, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Or some commercials don't care. They say, we don't care what you've done. We're doing it our way. The agency is going to come in and color it how they want. So you're just there. You're also kind of managing the footage in terms of like backing it up and syncing the sound and quality control a little bit on set. And then in commercials, I also I have monitors. So I'm like the guy who brings the monitors and the wireless and all that stuff. So it's like I have my background's in editing. Like that's what I did when I was in high school, and I was filming on little, shitty camcorders. Yeah. And then when I started getting into film for work, like I was directing music videos and like small stuff, but I was doing camera assisting. So I was like focus pulling, and I'm older than I'm old. Like I'm 37. Like I'm older than I look.
Oh, fuck you, dude.
So I was like focus pulling before it was wireless. Like I was focus pulling when we were doing off the camera. Like,
yeah.
So my camera and editing, this is when I first started in film, it was film. Like the Red camera had just come out. So this idea of digital imaging tech is wasn't even a real job. Back then it was like a film loader and like a lab. Like there was no like a developing lab. There was no digital development on set. So the jobs kind of evolved over time.
Which, you strike me as a very serious, a dude who had worked with actual film before. And that's why
I was just a PA back then. I was pretty young. Like I never filmed.
Here's the thing. That's why I'm like, there's no way you call yourself a YouTuber. And I wonder if on set would people is there a stigma there? Like, dude, what the fuck are you making YouTube videos for?
You know what's weird? So when I'm on set in commercials, because they're a little more primmed, I guess. It would be very unprofessional for me to go there and even talk about me doing anything but DIT.
Got it.
So in that position, I'm like, I am a DIT. Though when I start talking with people, for example, I was talking to a PA on a shoot, and he's like, "Oh, I really like your gear. Show me what you do." And he showed me I just made this horror movie. And I go, "That's funny. You made a horror movie. I have the Canada's biggest horror channel."
Fuck yeah.
For dedicated horror. And then I showed him the channel. He goes, "Oh shit." He's like, "That's cool." And then he's like, "Let me work with you sometime. I like to shoot." And then I'm like, "Well, we're shooting a short film in a month. Do you want to help?" And he became the DP, and he brought in Alexa, which is a sweet camera, and it looks great. So that short film looks really good. So there's little windows where I can talk about it, and usually it's people love it. I know a lot of people in film who they really, really want to have a YouTube channel because it's residual income, and a lot of people think that's the future. It's they're worried about the film industry and the theater environment and streaming environment of streaming in the sense of Netflix and Apple and everything not being a very good future. Yeah. And everyone has this feeling no, you need to have your own audience. You need to have your own platform. That's where the future is. But the other scary thing, just to digress, is a lot of them, they want to do it really quickly. And I always tell people, if you're going to do a YouTube or an online thing, do something you still love to do. Yeah. I love to make movies that fuck with people and scary fucked up movies. I'm not making kids videos with a clown or whatever. Kids like that. And I have friends now that want to just do the whole thing on AI. They're they want to make AI. They want to make AI videos and just
is that real?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Prompt a whole video now. Yeah. And I've got a friend, he'll never watch this, but I'm calling him out. He wants to make a channel where he just takes Bible quotes.
Bible?
Not religious.
Oh, you lost me.
Take a Bible quote, say make a video with this quote, and he'll just completely flood social media.
But he's not religious and he wants to do Bible quotes?
Well, it's just a way to get an audience and make
Oh, he fake.
Money. He'll crush.
He'll crush.
It will do great.
That? How do you know, Russell?
AI content is kind of it's a cool way to make some passive income, I guess, but it is also when I'm not watching a movie for this show or watching something for a film fest, I'm watching YouTube. That's where I like to go. And I'll tell you, my heart sinks whenever a thumbnail grabs me and I click it and I get that very, very noticeable AI read script and voice. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. And but a lot of people don't, and it's very popular. Dude.
I don't like it myself. It feels weird and cringy to me.
It does.
Yeah, but you're weird because look at this.
Oh.
You're a handsome dude. You play video games and you make good movies and you work in the industry. How are you not doing like a vlog or something or like a live stream? Or I feel like you could be crushing even. You have the #1 horror show in Canada, yet I feel like you could like be doing even better.
I mean, I don't know. That's why I keep making movies, hoping that they expand it.
Yeah, again, get ready because I'm just going to be flattering you all night. I love the shit you do, and I'm a little confused. So your girlfriend breaks up with you, and you decide to make a movie. Now, when you go to your friends and say, "Hey, let's make a movie," clearly you have a channel. Does everybody assume you're talking for YouTube, or are you like, no, this is going to be a film? Like,
I think they see it as both. I mean, I kind of act like everything I do that's horror related is part of Deformed Lunchbox, whether it's for YouTube or not.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't the way I always pictured Deformed Lunchbox, and it's funny, like when I started it and it started to get a couple views, I like made a Bible for the channel. Like, what is the channel? And I'm like, this is a 2-pillar approach, I called it. I said one pillar is like a production company where we make movies, we make anything, shows, anything in our brand, and like we're aiming to do like the higher quality stuff, movies, feature films, Blumhouse, kind of like we're going for that. The other side is the YouTube channel where we're doing Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and they both were to support each other. So it's like if the YouTube grows, we get a community that's going to help the bigger side go. The bigger side goes, we're feeding the thing to community, and we're like, this was always a 2-pillar approach. And that's kind of was the initial idea, and it's still kind of the idea. So I know that YouTube's the one like doing better, and now I'm trying to leverage that to get a feature off the ground. And to be honest, most of the interest I got in Baleful when it came from distributors was 100% because of the YouTube channel. They're like, oh, you have a following. Like, let's talk about that. How does that work? You get money from that? Like, they had a million questions about that. And
not your movie.
I had a meeting with someone who he's a pretty decently mid-scale filmmaker here, director, and he didn't even watch Baleful. And the meeting was for us to like, hey, like, how do we get our next funding model going for another film? Here's Baleful. What do you think? Who can you introduce us to? And all he wanted to do was talk about YouTube, and he even wanted to pitch getting some of his older horror films on our channel for like a shared monetization. Like it was weird. But anyways, I'm trying, I want to make, like, I have lots of scripts. I'm in development on them too. So we're going to use that following and that those numbers and the brand and all that to try to like leverage that to get interest in a bigger project. But my thing is, I'm not much of a numbers producer guy. Like, I'm just not someone who will make a giant package of numbers and like know what to do with it. I'm very much like a tech, like camera, storyboard, color, movies, VFX, compositing. Like, I'm that. So I'm just like not. I don't know. That's why I need help. So I found a partner to help me on that. So we have a really cool script that I'm really hoping can get made.
Is that found footage as well, or
no?
Or no. Okay.
There's an element. Actually, there's an element of it because it's about a guy who really desperately wants for his cooking channel to take off online. So there's an element of he's making videos of himself cooking and uploading it. So we're seeing that process. Okay. But the cooking gets kind of insane. So
okay, I want to see that.
So with Deformed Lunchbox, everything on there, have you like acquired short films, or is everything produced by your team?
So like the first few years, it was entirely my team. Mostly stuff I directed, but I did once in a while I'd produce for a friend or a director. Or like I had a friend who wanted me to he wanted me to write it and produce it and edit, but he wanted to direct. So whatever. But only in the last year and a half, I want to say, when I started to make the Baleful, I didn't have enough time. Like, I didn't have bandwidth to like keep making short films. So I was like, I need to put all my focus on this film, all my time to shoot. And then so people started sending me films, and now like a lot of our films, like this last year, only 2 of them I made. One I directed and one I produced, and the rest have been other filmmakers. And I know all of them like personally. And if I don't, now people are reaching out to me that I don't know personally, but We always have a chat. I get to know them, and I consider them friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, we totally open up to other people now. The thing is, it's hard. Is that a lot of times I'll say no. Because there's certain, I like to think there's certain quality metrics, like sound has to be okay, and like there's things that are just a little schlocky, a little too schlocky. And our thing is we don't really do too much of like that. I want to call it like intentionally B movie, which I actually, I'm gonna say I hate it. I hate that element.
I don't like that either.
I know some people love it. They're like, hey, look, it's a shitty movie and it's full of schlock. Ha ha, wink and nudge. This is my buddy who is in the movie and he's making an in joke. Like, I hate that shit.
Yep.
I think I like serious movies that are like dark and serious and leave us feeling with dread and cold. So I guess in a way I'm trying to still make the channel like curated. It's like a curated type of movie where you're not going to get schlock.
Man, it's really interesting because that's my first thought is like Alter. They're what I would say is a similar channel where they have a bunch of curation. And it's funny because even Evan, he had a homie through Letterboxd who was going to hook him up because Evan's a filmmaker too.
Cool.
And
right, did anything ever come? How well lit his webcam shot is.
I know, fucking idiot. And he's broadcasting out of a shack in Mississippi too.
I'm in a shed right now. Yeah,
that's not a joke.
Yeah, no, they were the buddy at Letterboxd that has not worked out. I have not talked to Alter yet, but I do have that short that's still not out. I'll send it to Peter, see if he likes it.
No, but dude, he just said he doesn't like schlock.
Yeah, no, fuck you, Russell. You know my short's not schlock.
Alter has a film freeway, don't they now, that you can submit through?
Oh, I think they do actually, that you can submit to. Yeah, he said he was going to start up a meeting. Brett did. The guy he used to work with Letterboxd. This guy, I'm calling you out, Brett. I know he's not listening to this, but
we've had a few films that were also on Alter.
Okay.
Interesting. So I love. So you get in. I'm guessing you're a horror fan who wanted to start making movies, and you start working on sets, and then you end up in this weird like reversal where now you're in a position of power, and you're like a curator, a producer, and you, without even knowing it, you've kind of like created your own little like empire up here.
Taking over the world.
Well, it's strange because I think clearly you're humble. You're changing your own fucking name in your movie where you've worn many hats, which is something that, the three, me, Terrell, and Evan, we always bitch about this thing where it's like, fuck, look at all this shit we got to do. And it's, a money struggle. And we constantly are talking to people. I mean, so many in-world camera found footage horror movies are made because there's no money. And they're like, well, fuck it. This is a natural medium. And then now we're living in a TikTok world where everybody's filming shit. So it just feels so natural.
Oh.
And it's like now with our film fest, we're kind of like, oh shit, people are paying attention to this stuff now. And I imagine you're in a very similar position. But like, do you want, like in 5 years, where would you like to be as far as your career?
Well, I always, in my mind, the two goals that everybody should have, especially in film, this guy token a pipe over here.
It's so unprofessional. I'm so sorry, Peter. We told him about that. He don't give a fuck. I know it's Mississippi.
It's allowed.
He don't care.
The kind that this came from the store. It's technically a legal loophole that they're able to sell it right now, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Peter. He's so professional.
It's as legal as it gets up there where Peter's at.
I know. I don't smoke weed though. I quit.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
Anyways, I was gonna say the two ultimate goals for everyone in film or anyone is unlimited financial freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unlimited creative freedom.
Hell yeah.
You can boil it all down to those two goals, right? So everything can lead to that. I mean, so that's what I'd love to be a multi-billionaire who can make it as many as I want, right? That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not a
Sure.
billionaire.
You're trying to be rich. Okay.
No, but I guess in 5 years, I'd love to I really want to get a feature film like in theaters. And I'd love, like we saw Five Nights at Freddy's, like that kind of thing. We're like using the YouTube in the audience to like become a brand name. Like, for Deformed Lunchbox to be like the next Bloomhouse.
That movie was boring.
I didn't see it.
You ain't missed nothing.
I'd probably. There's such a huge list of horror movies to always watch. Like when I meet somebody who's seen them all, I'm like, wow. Maybe
Well,
you guys do that.
We're
but-
here.
I do that. I watch everything.
But see, Peter, this is why Baleful kind of like rises to the surface, because you made a strange film, and I mean that in the best way. My experience watching it was, first I had a dude he's pretty quiet, George. He loves film, but he doesn't really articulate his opinion that often.
Okay.
So when he tapped me, I'm like, oh God, like I thought I was going to watch this movie and find out what he thinks of me. Like, oh, there's some weird shit, and now that's what he thinks I like. But he nailed it on the head. I think your film, there's another
weird
filmmaker.
shit like Baleful is like what? I mean, that's my shit. Like the stuff we're all into.
I'm so happy
Maybe not
you guys
Terrell.
liked it. I mean, I've gotten a wide range of feedback on it.
Oh, good.
But I feel like a lot of people won't connect with it. That's why you found us weirdos.
It's such a specific type of movie, right?
So
Well,
do
could
you know?
you tell us what it's about then, for people listening that don't know what this is about?
The log
Let's do
line.
that.
The log line I use is that it's basically a curse that people have that makes them do terrible things.
Ooh, okay.
And that's kind of it. You got to watch it from there. It's
Oh, good. Okay, that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
a good little tease. That's perfect.
yeah.
So-
it's a little like I like the idea of like it kind of being nightmare-esque though, where it's like you can't really grasp the where you are. It's a little not grounded.
Okay.
In a way, yeah. I don't know. You got to watch it.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Peter,
Hey, part one.
Yes.
here's the thing. I think if you're like us and you've just seen thousands of movies, you start to like reject the safe kind of studio approach.
Yeah.
And it starts to become so predictable that your brain will start to shut off. And I think we're even seeing that in Netflix, where they're starting to do analytics based on second screen ability, which basically means, is your movie going to pull the audience at home away from their phone, which they think is bad. They think that's bad business, which I think is terrible for film. But this movie, Baleful, is exactly that. And I think it's because it evolves in a way where, if without even studying film or knowing anything, we're all kind of like used to digesting a 3-act structure. And then this movie, it's kind of always just evolving on an upward trajectory. And we're like, you can't really find a foothold. Also, the music blends together. I feel like you did a lot of
The
interesting stuff with
soundscape
the
in this thing
ADR.
is wild.
That's
Like,
Sam.
yeah.
That's all
so
Sam.
tight.
Also, it
Is
makes
Sam
sense
one
that
of your
you do-
aliases?
I'm just
Oh, I'm trying to follow
I know,
because
don't cut it. Well, the other thing is,
Sandman, and then his brother Sinclair Sandman is one of the makeup artists.
which is also you.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
this is kind of like the movie.
I love it.
No, but the thing is, you have this subtle like color grading with white, and it really makes like the whites of the eyes pop, and they're really clear. And there's
yeah.
all
I'm glad
these
you
like
noticed
little,
that.
dude. There's all these little subtle like flexes that like you
There
know
is.
we're elitist fucking jaded horror fans, and then we're looking at this and it's like, this is different. And you can tell there's not a lot of money, but it also didn't hold you back. And I really connected with it, and it kind of bums me out to hear that you're gonna chop it
He
up.
chops it up. Yeah. He
So-
got to make his money.
Maybe you can convince me to.
No, here's what you do. So on the episode that's going to come up before this on Tuesday, I covered a film called Death Rider in the House of Vampires. It's Glenn Danzig's new movie. Much like you, he's an artist who had a vision. Except Danzig didn't have anybody telling him they didn't like his movie. So you get this outsider art weirdness that is anything but perfect. What he did is he said, you know what? I'm not just going to put it up on Tubi and let people roast me. If you want to watch it, you got to buy it directly from me. But you know what? It'll be in a cool Blu-ray. It'll come with the slipcover. And you know what? I'm happy. I'm very down for that model. So maybe you chop it up and you just release a Blu-ray for people like me and Terrell, who just want to hold it and like have this other version. Because
Yeah.
I really, dude, it's good.
I like it as it is too, and I'm
Yeah.
interested. I definitely will watch these individual pieces put straight together just to see how it reads, you know, without
Yeah.
getting it in a mixed order. But I love it as it is.
it's hard. I mean, it's in a weird place right now because I kind of like I would say like the feature film version is like the director's cut.
Yeah.
But the new way that I've gone back and edited each section on its own and like had the liberty to be like not feeling like I need to hit a 90-minute and do all this stuff that connects them. It just feels so much better. So I'm almost like, man, the director's cut really is just the 7 sections. And I don't know if just putting it like chapter 1 to 7 and as one piece is the same, but
No.
I to me, like, I'm just not. I look at short films differently than a lot of people. A lot of people look at short film as like some sort of stepping stone for their career or content.
Yeah,
content. Everything's content, right?
Everything.
So the fucking Mona Lisa is content. But
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
Hell yeah.
but like, I guess like. I don't look. I think there's just as much validity to a short film as there is a feature film, and I think like people sell short films short by treating them like a stepping stone for their career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Look at like a guy like Brian Lanano. Like he's made only short films, and they fucking rule. Like all of them are awesome, and like if you haven't seen his stuff, you definitely should.
I should. I don't. I mean, there's so much. I'm not someone who watches everything, but I always am down for recommendations.
Gwilliam. Throw that on YouTube. Gwilliam. It'll pop
don't do
up.
that to him. I love William, but he gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
If you guys want to send me like a email a bunch of stuff to watch, like this kind of stuff, I'm so into it.
You don't think we crazy?
So,
but here's the thing: like at the end of the day, what's the value of making a movie? Right? It's like providing entertainment for people.
yeah.
So if you make a 2-hour movie and you in YouTube, you can track these metrics of like how many hours was it watched.
Yeah.
So if you have the same amount of hours watched, whether it's a short film, a 3-minute short film that gets quadruple of views and gets more hours watched than a feature film that gets less time, but because it's longer, it still gets less. Like, isn't the short film higher value as a art form or as a property or as a piece of entertainment? Like, I guess it's not equal because you can make some silly TikTok where like milk squirts out of your nose and get like 1 billion hours viewed. Yeah. But I think if you're making something that's like deliberate and artistic and like it's like created, there's no difference of the length. So in my mind, I don't look at like this being released as 7 short films as like selling it short. I actually think releasing the 7 short films means that each of these individual parts can get more value and more thought or more interest, like more dissection, I guess. Whereas a whole, all scrambled up together, I don't know if it's as powerful that way. Like, I think it's more powerful to be like, look at these each characters in their sections of what each section is saying, and then how do they connect? It's better than if it's all connected.
Well, let me push back on you.
Well, you haven't seen this, the broken up version.
I haven't. And here's the thing. I'm a fan. So since I watched Baleful, I subscribed to Deformed Lunchbox, and I've just been working through it. Great. I also so we all do stuff like me and Evan. We do editing and trailers for Film Fest. Terrell just acted in his first film. Like we're all playing in the field.
Great.
And
I'm editing my first feature right now.
Yep.
I just got back from shooting.
So
sweet.
You're kind of a not that we're creators, but you're a creator's creator. And when I look at your work and like the vibe and your curation of your channel, I think of Tyler Cornick. Do you know him?
I don't know.
He did a movie called Butt Boy.
Oh.
So okay. So that's the exact reaction I had. Butt Boy though is a absurdist comedy that is deadly serious. And it was like John Waters' favorite movie of that year.
Have I heard of Butt Boy? I feel like now you're ringing a bell.
Yep. He also did Tiny Cinema. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of Butt Boy now that I see the poster.
Yep.
Yep.
So I highly recommend that. I brought Tiny Cinema up here just so I would remember to talk about it. But, the Blu-ray, I check his stuff out because I feel like you fall into that same kind of like Tim and Eric, kind of like it's comedy and horror and it's walking that fine line. But it's quality. Like nothing's schlocky. And it's never like a cheap laugh. Like everything's always well written.
I'm actually taking it on this screen here. I'm writing this all down.
Oh,
yeah.
So I mean it. I really think Baleful, you tapped into something. And my counter argument to your like content versus long form narrative would just be, I think like TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, they're kind of like chips or like snacks. Like you have a lot of them and you digest them, but they don't. You kind of just, interact with them briefly and that's it. Where like a film, like I will show people Baleful. If you put the damn thing out on Blu-ray, I will, have people over and we'll watch it. And I'm, again, another hole in the head. It sounds like it may be the only time in a theater. Come out and watch it because I think about the movie and I'd never think about a short.
For anybody listening, by the way, a little added context there. Friday, December 13th at 8:30 p.m. at the 4-Star Theater in San Francisco. At the
4-Star. God damn it.
Yeah, at the 4-Star.
I had my bit ready. 4-Star.
Hey, you got the 4-Star beanie.
I'm
go.
Brandon.
You guys going to be there?
Who's going to be there?
You guys are going to be there?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They will. I'm in Mississippi, so I won't. I'll be there.
He don't want to hop a flight.
I know, dude. Peter, we're trying to get the money to fly him out to hang out with us. Although half the time, me and Terrell can only do so much. No, but George hit me up to watch it, and then I knew the follow up was like, "Oh, do you want to intro it?" And it was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." So you're in good hands. I'm gonna highbrow your shit up.
I mean, you're giving me all these second thoughts now about what to do with the movie.
Come on, you should know better than anybody. You just have to find that audience, and I think what we're trying to do with this podcast and our friends, like, there's a world of people with no money making highbrow art. But it's usually about like lowbrow subject matter. And they're not Criterion. They're not on Vinegar Syndrome. And they're kind of just waiting to find a crowd. And your film, dude, it fits perfectly in there. So now I do want to mention, I want to talk about one part of your movie.
Okay.
Without spoiling anything.
We can talk about all types of parts about it.
So a camera shows up and is kind of like this haunting character. And people are kind of coming in and out of being cognitive. And there's a lot to think about who's on camera or like maybe where the camera is. And it, like we all do in-world camera stuff and found footage stuff. And it sparked this argument within myself about if this would be a hybrid film. And again, hybrid means it's kind of our way. Have you ever seen like Behind the Mask, the Leslie Vernon story?
No.
So that film is a faux doc about a slasher, and it's a group. They're following a slasher as he prepares to eventually, do a massacre. But in the third act, it turns into a traditional slasher movie. So it's like
cool.
When you get in the woods with found footage fans, they start to argue about like, well, it's not a found footage, man. They broke format. So we have a whole category of like mixed format where part of the in-world stuff is very important to the subject.
Right.
And I feel like you're in there. And now that I hear you're only going to do one theater, I'm almost trying to build an argument for our team to be like, we got to show this because I think it would hit.
You got my support in it, dude.
Yeah.
Get Peter a code and let him submit and let the rest of the team check it out.
Yeah, we're going to shoot you a waiver.
Sure.
Let me write that down.
Films? I'm just kidding.
Okay. As we're running out of time, and listeners will know whenever I get really excited about something, I won't shut up about it. So I got one more question for you before I throw it to Terrell.
Well, I would say, just back to your other question, I would say it's probably a hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
It probably leans a little more like 80-20 than it does like 50-50.
But the whole point of our category is that the in-world stuff is really pivotal,
as long as it's crucial.
It kind of changes.
Yeah, and it is in your movie.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the camera's literally in the movie as a.
Yeah.
You're right. It's almost as its own character in a way,
or a witness, or it's like provoking the situation. Yeah, So you're talking about making this movie, and you're like, "Hey, let's do it," and then somehow you end up with fucking Spencer Rice in your film.
Oh, so you know about Spenny.
Oh, I know Kenny versus Spenny.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan.
They're gross.
He's like he's our biggest celebrity in the movie.
Oh, you have him in the movie?
He's in the fucking movie.
Yeah, they're gross. I saw this show.
He's great, by the way. He's such a nice guy.
I bet.
He was down to do it, and he I mean, it's a tough movie to get people in a way because they'd be like, well, where's the script or what's it about? And I'd have to tell a lot of them like, just trust me, and I just like, you just have to do nothing, like just stare for some of the actors.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't get it, and you're like, just do it. But he was very easy because he's like, oh, I get it, like you're doing something a little more what was the word he used? I don't want to say artistic, but he's like, you're doing abstract or high concept. So he kind of got it. And there's like, I guess it's like meta funny in a way. Like the movie, some people is funny. Some people find it disturbing and gross. Some people find it funny, and that's like.
I think it's both. I think both things are true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we always kind of try to hit that note of like, is it funny? I think that's like a weird emotion to be like, I don't know if this is funny or not.
I think it's funny in the way that sometimes there's the only thing you can do, something so dark that the only thing you can do is laugh, right, in your own life, and there's like that kind of situation presents itself in real life. So I think you kind of have captured that a little bit with the movie too. You know.
I'm glad that was kind of what we were going for. And with Spenny, like his section is like very not funny.
Yeah.
But it's almost kind of funny because it's Spenny.
Yep.
And you'd expect, it's kind of like, of course Spenny would do that to his family. Kind of like,
yeah.
So we got some funny comments, like when we released the trailer and he shared it or whatever, like a lot of his kind of fan base like left funny comments, and because his fan base and his shtick is like his fans almost make fun of him.
Yeah.
So that kind of works into the movie a bit. But I also like to think like it's not he wasn't really in it to be like goofy Spenny. He was in it to be a character. Like it was going to be another actor that played that part. And then when we had the opportunity to use Spenny, because I had a friend that kind of knew him, and we just made the connection. I actually just told the other actor, I go, hey man, sorry, like we got
You just kicked him to the curb. Okay.
But it worked out because he was my other friend's boyfriend at the time, and they broke up, and that would have been awkward. So I'm glad he's
okay.
It
Worked out then.
So it worked out.
Dude, it's funny. We cut the festival trailer for Another Hole in the Head, and
I saw that. I shared it.
So I put,
nice.
Spenny's in that trailer, and I am I have the DVD. I watched it when Matt Stone, Trey Parker put it out on Comedy Central, and then I went back to try and find all of it. I even think that falls in the in-world camera, because they're creating a product that exists in reality, but most people don't understand. So I have like a working title for that, for like Jackass or like Bad Trip, where it's like gaslight cinema. Like everybody in the audience is in on the joke, but the people experiencing the production
Or not,
usually
right.
have no fucking clue what's going on. So I'm a huge fan, and I didn't even know it was fucking Spenny. I just thought that moment was great.
I didn't even know that people outside of Canada watched Kenny versus Spenny. I thought that was a...
Well, it bums me out because I see that they're touring in Canada now.
Yeah.
And so Terrell thinks they're gross because like any good fan would do, you show them the
You
punishments,
showed
right?
the nasty episode with
So I
the
showed him one.
tongue and the bird poop, and like it was not.
Yeah.
That was
So
nasty.
he's talking about the LSD one with the squid, a classic, where the punishment was a bird had pooped on their car, so he
Ugh.
made Spenny lick the poop off the windshield.
That's disgusting.
And then
The tongue one was worse, where he scraped off that nasty gunk and he had a spoon and had to eat it. That is disgusting. Like, who watches this shit? It's so gross. I want to throw up just thinking about it. It's nasty.
That's their thing. It's like Tom Green. Like,
I love it.
He nasty too, but I actually like Tom Green.
Dude, Russell got me started I've been putting on a lot in the background while I work.
You work?
The fucking Tom, shut up, Trill. The Tom Green's House Tonight, the old talk show he used to do from his house.
Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
I just remember he like would make himself throw up on the show and stuff. It was
Yeah.
it was
And I
cool.
like that they start outside, the people come in his house and stuff. It's just cool. I like it. That authenticity. You kind of, I think we're working back to that, the authenticity and like
We are.
reality stuff. But for a while there, it got to a point where like talk shows and things were so produced, like,
Oh yeah.
and he kind of it's so authentic, and I love that.
I still think Freddy Got Fingered is like a hilarious movie.
Oh, yep.
Hell yeah.
I know it gets a lot of hate, but I thought it was funny back when I watched it as a kid, and I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a good barometer for your film, where it's like Freddy Got Fingered has a great production. It's like there's nothing weird on that end. Everything is competent. There are real people making a movie, yet the subject matter is strange.
Yeah.
And
It's like absurdist. It's absurd. It's intentionally absurdist.
yep.
Yeah.
And I would say, Baleful's not Daddy, would you like some sausage or the backwards man, but it's the horror version. So I don't know, man. I think you really made something special here. And I hope you don't completely shelve this like 90-minute narrative kind of version completely. And I would love a Blu-ray.
Okay.
So play with that idea, please.
Yeah, I think it'll get out one day, the full version for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I believe you. Give it some time. Watch, people are going to be kicking down your door like, we want Baleful. Well, maybe not that.
I think if the 7 parts like get enough hype, like people really like them,
yeah,
then it would be cool to be like, here's this other,
Right.
way of looking at it. I mean, in the end of the day, like it's the same story and content. It's just like the order you're seeing it.
Right.
It's like watching Pulp Fiction and you're moving the scenes around. Like it's not that. It's the same thing.
No. You know what? Don't listen to Peter.
Well, it's
Let
not
me.
the same-
I'm gonna.
it's not the
I'm gonna
same
be your
thing,
agent.
You know what I mean,
Peter, I'm your agent now. Peter is clearly flexing his editing skills by recrafting these shorts into a constantly evolving, hard to follow in a good way experience that just evolves to the point to where it's done and you're like, holy shit, that just changed everything. And that's the experience I had.
I love that you guys liked it so much and like took that that you saw that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so in this age, we watch movies all the time for this show. I mean, we look at submissions for 2 different film fests. I almost never rewatch a movie. I told Evan one night, I'm like, hey, I'm going to try and book this dude. So you're going to watch Baleful. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, he's like, but you've seen it, right? I was like, yeah, but this is why we're doing this, because I want to watch it again.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's great. And I'm excited to see it in a theater. So everybody go to Another Hole in the Head.
I'm jealous that they're going to go watch it in the theater.
That's gonna be cool. I'm. You know what? Let me know like how the audience reacts. Like I'm not gonna ever get that experience.
Well, I'll let you know.
Here's the thing.
You're gonna be there, right, Terrell? Like,
Of course, I'm gonna be right there watching.
So
Yep.
Terrell, whenever we intro a movie, Terrell comes in costume. So he's going to be completely duct taped up for this event.
What the fuck?
That would be amazing. You should.
We're going
All
to
right, so
tape
Friday
you to
the
the floor.
13th, this is going to be at the 4-Star Theater, y'all. So if y'all listening, y'all come get your tickets and go watch it with us. And apparently I'm dressing up for this. I don't know. And so, Peter, it was awesome having you here. So
Really duct tape someone to the floor for that scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fake.
Oh, hell yeah.
So where can anyone find you to hear about updates on your movies, your shows, and all that good stuff? Where can they follow you?
They can just follow Deformed Lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
We're on every platform you can think of, and we have a Discord, and it's pretty cool. If you message, we'll respond. So feel free to reach out. We're not hard to get a hold of.
Okay.
Hell
And when
yeah.
you say we, it's really just me responding.
Yeah, I love it. You and all your aliases.
The next room over, I got like a team of 10 people. They're all crunching on a computer right now. You know, Sam,
Okay, little leprechauns.
and then, all my aliases.
All right, well, it's great to have you. Thanks for joining Footage
This was
Foreplay.
This is great.
And I can't wait to see the movie myself because they just love it. They just giving it flying colors,
Love
A+s across the board. So
5 stars.
I'm ready. Period. Thanks again, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love y'all.
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.